Hi, everybody. This is Lisa. This is my show, Angel Guidance by Lisa. Just want to introduce myself. I am a Reiki Master Healer, and I am an evidential medium, and I'm also an intuitive. And being a medium and being an intuitive sort of go hand in hand because in order for me to talk to spirit, those who departed and now are on the other side, they communicate with me through my psychic abilities. So that being said, I also want to let you know I do communicate with beings of light, with angels, and with those who have ascended to the higher realms of consciousness, meaning sometimes they're called ascended masters. And those people, though they may have been people on the spiritual realm and have moved on through levels of consciousness higher, and so they understand more of life's broader lessons. So I do a little bit of many things, but the thing I do like to do is teach people about all things spirit. So this today is the 31st of December, and we are looking into 2020 with our 2020 vision. And what I'd like to do for you today is give you a prediction for yourself. And the first predictions of the year are going to be about your professional life, about your finances, perhaps about what things you need to overcome to move through life in 2020 with a little more ease and flow. And what I did is I decided that I wanted to give more in-depth predictions than I usually do because we are looking at a full year. But these are also going to be overarching ideas or messages as well of what you can work on in order to achieve what you want this year. And so that being said, I gave readings from Spirit prior to the show. I use tarot cards. I also use oracle cards, and I also receive information, insight that comes in from the spiritual realm. They drop messages into my presence and into my awareness. So what I'd like to do is have you select who you or what you want as far as a reading goes, if you're going to choose letter A or letter B. So what I want you to do is just sit quietly for a moment, feet flat on the floor, and I want you to really just focus your intent on what the highest good is for yourself. So breathe in and just breathe in slowly and release. And ask your higher self, what is my highest good for 2020? I have a choice for a reading, and I can choose letter A or B. And then what you hear first, if it's letter A or letter B, that's what you go with. Because there are no accidents in this world, and so whatever letter you choose will be the perfect one for you. So I want you to go ahead and get centered and think about that for a moment. Decide your letter, A or B, and then I'll start. Okay, so if you chose letter A, I'm going to let you know what the divine shared with me just prior to this, me going on air. Literally, I was doing readings up until the last 5 minutes before I got on air. So if you chose letter A, I want you to listen carefully. You might want to take some notes because this is going to go into some things that are a little deeper than I normally talk about. Okay, so the first thing, the first card actually that I drew, the first being that came through was an ascended master. Okay, and so an ascended master, like I said, could have been a person in the physical world who ascended on into heaven higher than most, or also could be what would be considered a god or goddess worshipped by ancient people. So the first one is actually Joan of Arc, and this is for letter A. Okay, so the ascended master that comes to you as a guide for 2020, okay, is Joan of Arc. And Joan of Arc was a person who lived in the 1400s in France. Okay, So you think about that time, it's nowhere near like it is now. The 1400s in France, people would have, pretty much lived day to day. And, there was a lot of fighting going on at that time. And so there was actually a battle between France and England at that time. And Joan of Arc lived in France. And she was aware of the war. And she was just a girl at the time. She was 13. And when she was 13 years old, she had a vision. Okay, she had a vision of angels. And within that vision, she also spoke with Archangel Michael. And Archangel Michael is God's greatest warrior angel. And Archangel Michael had a message for her. Okay, and this is what she told, and this was recorded actually, this was all written down and back then, but she said, I saw the angels with my physical eyes. So she didn't just see them in a vision in her mind, she saw them right in front of her. And she said, I saw them with my physical eyes, and the angels told me that I am supposed to drive the English out of France because this battle is not to be won by the English, it should be won by the French. And Archangel Michael was helping her through this vision. And so Joan of Arc was a girl, and she did do what her angels told her to do, though. So that would be pretty daunting to be 13, to have Archangel Michael, God's greatest warrior angel, come to you, standing before you in the physical world, right in front of you, and say, Joan, you need to lead your people into battle against the English. I mean, most people, I think, especially a 13-year-old girl, would not want to do that. It would be pretty scary. But Joan did. Joan did that very thing. And she led her people into battle against the English. Now, unfortunately, she was captured by the English, and she was sentenced to death. So things didn't really work out that well for Joan as far as what happened to her in the physical world. But that did not that was not daunting to her. She did not waver in her faith. So she was on trial, and that's how we have all these records of what she said. She was on trial by the English, and they couldn't believe she spoke to angels. They thought she was a witch. They were just so unkind to her. And she was captured, she was sentenced to death, but she said of her faith, you must act on your faith and God will act. So what does that mean exactly? For you, it means that if you have a belief, if you have a strong faith in something that you know is true for you, that by you acting on it, taking small actions towards it, you can rest assured that God or the universe will act on your behalf on the other side as well. Okay? She created and demonstrated great faith. And she took a risk that no other young woman, much less a girl at that time, had ever taken before. So when you believe your own vision and move beyond your fear and act on your truth, you will be met by support from the universe. So right now, decide, what is your powerful vision for 2020? And know that you will be divinely protected and guided and supported as you pursue it. Okay, so Joan of Arc is your ascended master who will help you during this time. If you want more information about Joan of Arc, just do an internet search. There is a ton of information about Joan of Arc, and you might find her inspiring. And if you want to continue to have her assistance, her inspiration for you, why don't you print out a photo of her? Why don't you see if there's some quotes that were attributed to her that might be inspirational for you? Okay, so the rest of your reading will go on into some other issues you may be confronting at this time or dealing with. And this, once again, this is for the people who chose letter A. Okay, so there may be some sorrow in your mind right now that may relate back to the last 3 months, 3 years, or even as early as the age of 3. So that's interesting, isn't it? Things we go through repeat in patterns. And so when I say it could have happened 3 months ago, 3 years ago, or back to the age of 3, what I mean is you may have had triggers of past beliefs happen during those times, and you're growing through these lessons you're learning, okay? Now, maybe when you were 3 years old, as a child, you experienced some sorrow or it hadn't had something happen with your original family, like your parents, like your mother and father and you. And so that would be the original triangle in your family, or whoever raised you, if there were 2 people who raised you, what happened with them at the age of 3? You might want to go back and think about that. Were there some issues going on? Maybe you don't consciously remember them, but maybe you know the story about what was going on in your life at the age of 3. So you really do want to go back and investigate that a little bit. Then think about what happened 3 years ago. What was going on in your life 3 years ago? What was the pattern? What was happening then? Pull out the obvious connections there, and then go back to 3 months ago and see what was happening in your life then. Now, you may not think about it, and it may not come to you right away. It may be something you have to sort of sit on for a while and maybe reflect about, maybe journal about, but it will come to you. And so see what that pattern is. And it may be related to sorrow you're carrying, and that sorrow you're reworking in your mind over and over and over again. And all that does is keep you in a pattern of sorrow. So if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling upset, you want to release that, okay? And what this means is you have the opportunity to release this in 2020. Okay. It also may mean that you're part of a group of people, of 3 people, and those people may be hurtful or have destructive patterns connected with them that aren't good for you. So you may want to remove yourself from that group. So think about that as well. So in the next 3 months, you're going to be able to eliminate this pattern of negativity, this pattern of sorrowful or sad thinking. And it will be helpful for you to take steps to do that. Okay, so trusting yourself is also important. And I feel like you don't trust yourself enough, because if you start to trust yourself, you're going to inspire your confidence in yourself, because you're good at some things. Okay, and you need to start owning that. All right, no matter who told you what in the past, you are good at some things. And since you're good at these things, you're going to be able to embrace the talents you have this year, and you're going to be able to demonstrate them to others. Like maybe it has to do with work. Maybe it has to do with something you want to do for a living that's a side job. There will be some recognition for you this year in your talents. So it will be a year of growth for you in 2020. And it will be important that you participate in activities that increase your self-esteem. Self-esteem is about feeling good about yourself. Increasing your activities in self-esteem means doing things that make you feel good, doing things that get you positive feedback. If you're participating in things that don't make you feel good or don't get positive feedback from others, maybe you need to reconsider what you're doing and what those activities are, and if they're really serving you. What you could say as an affirmation would be, I value who I am. And start really owning that, because you have a lot to offer. And you need to embrace that, because there's so much of you to give to the world. So there are some things you will need to release. Any patterns you have that hold yourself back, 10 weeks to 10 months. Okay, that would include throughout 2020. So you need to express all of who you are, not just some of who you are. If you feel like you're holding back some of these gifts you have, or even what you would like to say to others and you just won't say them because you're concerned about what they think, start letting that go. You have the opportunity to be supported by the universe on this in 2020. So if you're holding back your power through your thinking and not expressing your true self, you need to release that now. Okay? You also may meet some new friends this year who will be special to you, and they may take you into their confidence, meaning they may share secrets with you or information with you. So it's important to honor their trust and keep their secret if it is for the highest good and does not cause harm to others. So no, people will see you special. People will want to talk to you. People will want to share what's on their mind because they trust you. So know that that is like a quality that's very magnetic, and you will start to pull those people into your circle of friends. So you will be experiencing a lot of change this year as well. And it is important to stay centered and strong during this change, especially when you go through your daily routines. If you feel like this change is throwing you off, it's really important to stay grounded. And that means, like stick with your schedule. Stick with what you know works for you. Okay? You might even want to be able to get outside, take a walk, connect with nature. That'll help ground you as well. All right? Don't allow other people to influence you this year either, because that can throw you off your game. And you know what? I think that you can accomplish more than you realize. And that's such a wonderful thing when you are able to do something and you can look at yourself and go, wow, I actually did that. That's amazing. You will accomplish progress towards your dreams this year. And I want you to own that and know that and feel that. And so another thing you want to think about is not to take people for granted this year either. Please be grateful for those who are loyal to you. I know sometimes people get on your nerves, and maybe those who are in your life the most get on your nerves the most, but perhaps it's because they feel comfortable telling you how it is, and they're the most loyal to you. And you know what? Finding people who are loyal to you is not that easy. There's a lot of people who would stab you in the back. There's a lot of people who would turn around and leave and ghost you. Be grateful for those who are loyal to you. You may feel a bit overwhelmed, so take one day at a time, all right? And take small steps towards progress. Okay, this year will also be a year to work on your third eye chakra. And what do I mean by that? Your third eye chakra is right here in the center of your head, and it will help you begin to understand energy. So energy can be seen as visions. It can be also felt as feelings, like a vibe. Like if people are angry, you may feel that. That's connected with the third eye. You also may start to see visions of angels, like Joan of Arc. That's possible. I'm not saying you'll see them right in the physical world, but you can certainly notice them when you start to go to sleep and drift off in your dreams. They love to come to us in our dreams. It's a real easy way for them to communicate with us. Your third eye chakra is also where you see your future, your goals, and where you can envision what you want out of life. So please be sure that you imagine where you want to go in life, where you want to go this year in 2020. Write down some goals. Do it right now. Write down some goals of what you want to see happen and start feeling that. Imagine that. Feel all the feelings with it. Something else that the guides told me to tell you is to create a God box. Okay, and a God box is where you can write any of your worries or concerns on a piece of paper and then put the piece of paper in a box. And you can choose a special box, like a jewelry box, or you can create a box, make it special, and then put your concerns in that box. And that will allow you to release the energy of concern and allow the universe to help you with it. So if you're worried about something, write what you're worried about on a slip of paper, put it in your God box, and let it go. Don't fixate on it, because that just keeps the worry in your energy. Okay, and also know, if you're hearing this now, please know that you have been called to help heal others. And it is important for you to understand that you have a great spiritual power that will be a blessing to others. And if you have had hints of this kind of thinking, consider this your sign that you can be of service to the universe, and you will be supported in that way. So there's another thing I want to wrap up with, and I want to tell you about your power animal. Okay, you have a lot of power animals, but this one that came is the tiger. Okay, and the tiger is about your power, and you will have a greater depth of vision and the ability to discern what others may not be telling you. So in order to manifest, it is important to pray, and that just means expressing what you want to see in life to the universe. Give your concerns and worries over to the universe, and remember, you must ask. Okay, that's letter A. Letter B. Letter B. Let's start with the Ascended Master who's helping you. Okay, and this is so exciting. Letter B, you have quite the year ahead of you for 2020. The Ascended Master helping you is Lakshmi, and that's Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth, fortune, and prosperity. Yay! Her name means to understand or to have a goal. So does it mean she's going to drop a bag of gold on your lap with you doing nothing? No. What it means is if you put your mind to it and you have goals and you have plans and you work towards those, you will be blessed by her and her energy. Okay, she's a Hindu goddess. She goes back to 100 BC in the Hindu culture. She is well respected by the Hindu people. She represents abundance, and she helps people achieve their sense of purpose and vision. So you might want to Google her, take a look, see what she looks like, print out a picture of her. She's a beautiful goddess. She usually has gold and beautiful jewelry on, and she would be someone you want to put in your space, like a picture of her in your space as well. Okay, so if she were to speak, Lakshmi would say the ultimate goal is not about money, but knowing what makes you happy. And so she wants you to enter into a state of mind that will allow you to receive your true wealth. And this year, in 2020, you will overcome the fears that you had in 2019. And since you have released those fears from 2019, I feel like you've been working on this, allowing some of these things to move past, you're going to start to see evidence of the new awareness you have in 2020, okay? So some other things that came up in this reading, it was all about money, it was all about the future, it was all about career and professional and building your world physically. So this is great. So you are able to build a new foundation for your future. Just like a building has to have a firm foundation, you need to have a firm foundation for where you're moving forward. So you also may become a leader or demonstrate leadership abilities to others because you're going to see what works and what doesn't. And you will move forward with career changes as you work as an authority figure. And you will be able to work through any issues you have had. Also, if you had any problems with your father, like any kind of issues growing up, you're going to work through those as well. So it's all about being a leader, embracing your male side, and really taking charge of what you want to do with your life. So another card I drew for you was the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, that is an awesome card. That card is about abundance, prosperity, and fortune. Pretty awesome, right? You will experience unusual opportunities concerning your finances or creativity that will allow you to have major breakthroughs this year in 2020. This is abundance in the physical world, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Okay? You are determined, and if you're not, you will start seeing evidence of this. You are determined to turn your life in a more abundant direction. And you may experience unexpected opportunities that will be a win-win for you in 2020. This certainly looks like a career year for you. You also are going to have a Midas touch. Midas meaning the tail of the man, it was a king, and anything he touched turned to gold, okay? So know that you will have the Midas touch in 2020. And this will come to you either for yourself, and whether you work for yourself or whether you work for others, okay? You have a natural business sense, and you will experience a thriving career this year. 2020 will also be a time where you learn and study and research new ideas about work, finances, and goals. It could be a seminar, it could be a class online that you take, or just some research that will help you get on the ball with what you really want to do. Wonderful news is on its way for 2020, and there is more indication that you will have a promotion or new career opportunity. You may even have an award given to you. Whatever it is, you will have positive recognition for your hard work. You will receive accolades in the public eye, or maybe even an offer of help from someone who is successful, like a mentor. And you will make smart choices this year. It's sounding fantastic for you. It is important to visualize success and see yourself doing well in this situation, because your faith will help you achieve a positive outcome. If you get nervous, focus on service, meaning if you can answer the question of how can I make the world a better place, you will be supported by the universe to do so. If you want to help yourself raise your vibration, it is important for you to listen to high vibe music or maybe even dance, because when you move and sing, you will automatically shift yourself out of any negativity, guilt, anything that's low vibration. Singing and dancing will shift you out of that, okay? If you're not sure about going into something that you want to do for a business, you can start working on it now and keep your other job to pay the bills, okay? And soon you will be supported for the job of your dreams, okay? Whether that be working for yourself or someone else, start moving in that direction in small steps. I know this, it works. It's worked for me, it'll work for you too. So the whole of this reading for letter B is that there is successful funding for you, whatever the idea is that you want to turn into a reality. Don't allow concerns about money stop you. So the animal totem that is working with you this year, among others, is the snake. Now that may sound a little weird, but the snake is about transformation and rebirth, okay? Just like a snake loses its skin and has a new one underneath, so you too will shed what does not work for you and step into your new life. Okay, so letter B, fantastic news. Letter A, awesome as well. You both have different paths to follow. So if you chose letter A, consider what I said. You might want to go back, review this, jot down some notes about what we talked about. Letter B, same thing. And if you have any questions, if you'd like a manifestation reading, you can message me on my Facebook page at Pure Love Energy. I'm happy to help you. I hope you all have a fantastic New Year's Eve, a blessed 2020, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.